Welcome to the show. It's always important that we have opportunities where working together really has an association and it develops into something that's going to be very helpful for people who are looking for opportunities. Today we're here and we're going to be talking to individuals that are involved in leadership roles, developing business opportunities and jobs. We're going to be speaking to the Essex County Latino American Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Joe Hernandez and Mr. John Sanchez, and my good friend, the former honorable.
I got a little honorable.
Yeah,
just a tad, right?
My good buddy. You know, we are happy that we can be able to do this together, and it's really a pleasure again. The Honorable Wayne Smith from the South Orange Chamber of Commerce. Mm-hmm. Gentlemen, it's so much of a pleasure to have an opportunity to sit down and talk to you about business and how it relates to the urban community. Ethnicity matters, okay? And it's very important that we identify the relationships that together we can work to make our communities better. Mr. Sanchez, as the president, the chair now of the Latino American Chamber of Commerce, you have had a long-standing relationship of developing opportunities for the Latino community. Talk to us a little bit about how your successes have been.
Well, I believe our successes started many years ago. I would say like 31 years ago when we founded the statewide Chamber of Commerce, a group of Latino business owners. And our first president was Daniel Jara. I was his vice president, but it all started with six individual business owners, and it all started with Governor Kane, who at the time, and I have to say our friend Leona Lippman, Joe, Senator Leona Lippman, a great pioneer in business opportunities. So it all started with the governor. Leona Lippman had something to do with it. She doesn't get the recognition that she deserves when it comes to business opportunity. And a group of us got together and we started the statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Wow.
And not only that, when we started the statewide Chamber of Commerce, it wasn't a membership organization. What it was an umbrella organization to start different chambers of commerce throughout the state. So the first Chamber of Commerce that we founded was in Morris County. That was the Morris County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Down in South Jersey?
In Morris County.
North, yeah.
Then we went to Bergen County.
Okay.
Then we went as far as Camden. So we went all over the state in starting chambers of commerce. That was the mission of the statewide chamber. It was never meant to be what it is today, that is a individual membership organization. This is the reason why years after I resigned, because I believe that our original goal to start chambers of commerce was to go around the different counties and start chamber. And this is what I have been doing in the last couple of years, that we have decided that that's the way we need to go. And for example, we just started the Union County Chamber of Commerce. Mm-hmm. They're doing a great job. Richard Capa.
So, Mr. Hernandez, where does your role come in at? You're the vice president?
Yes, I'm vice president, and I've been involved with the chamber now for over 20 some odd years. We started with the name Hispanic, so we amended the name like 2 years ago to include Latinos, the bigger broad of community of people, to help them develop their businesses and go into businesses, and helping them understand what the regulations are to open up a bank account and what requirements you need to do that. And the majority of them don't speak English, so we try to help them with the Spanish language and how to get them to understand what they have to do to be able to legally be in business. And that's the reason why we're having this coming Saturday. We're having a open door, not just to Hispanics, to anyone that wants to come in to learn about the 7-step seminar, to teach them what are the steps to be legally involved in business, because there's a lot of requirements, not just to, when I remember when I started my business, I thought it was just to get a license and that was it. It wasn't that. That was just the beginning.
Wow.
Beginning of headaches. And then
and it worked out.
And yeah, it worked out. But and then every year it just changed. Requirements change, and you got to keep up with all those different requirements to stay in business and to conduct business. And then we also help those that want to know how to go about getting opportunities, how to market themselves, and how to do networking. That's what we do a lot with the Chamber. We do a lot of networking events to meet new opportunities and new people and new members and drive and have a real spirit and a goal.
But still, as an ethnic organization, you do focus on a demographic.
Yes.
And in regard to that, it has its substance. Now, Mayor Smith, you are now president of the South Orange Chamber of Commerce, and it isn't an ethnic organization.
It's a geographic organization.
And those are the differences?
Well, in that case, we're concerned with the growth and development of businesses in South Orange. However, early in my career in New Jersey, I started the first African American Chamber of Commerce, which John Harmon now chairs. So ethnic chambers play a role, and these two gentlemen I'm proud to be on this show with, because I go back as a young buck in the days that Senator Littman ran the Saturday seminars for minority entrepreneurs, and she presented at that time the opportunities that state government had, and she was the chief advocate in the legislature and dealing with the governor and his cabinet about making sure opportunities were created, and that she was the personal monitor. She got in the trenches on those particular issues, and so I think it was once or twice a month on these Saturdays, these minority entrepreneur seminars, she had some cabinet members come. She had the person who had received the majority contract come. She had people there who were in position to get business. She oft-time brokered those deals. And these two guys go back in a time when we actually fought for a piece of the pie, whether it was negotiating at Senator Littman's or having a picket line somewhere so everybody got it. And you had with people like Gus Henningberg, you had true black and brown coalitions who fought for all of us to get a piece of that public sector pie and private sector pie. So, but it's interesting thing now as we take local, we go global, but we think locally, but we go global. So one of the things that we're working on together collectively is the Council on Trade and Investment Promotion. It's an international group. And we have an exciting gentleman, Fernando Spotted, who has created this. And one of his principal issues was how do you create public-private partnerships and also showing government. So they started when Mayor Jones was mayor of Patterson. He took a delegation to India. And I started, my global thinking when I took a group of people, and one of your behind-the-scenes people went to China with us, where we went to about 13 cities.
The magnificent Lisa Dirt. You might as well put it out there.
We went to about 13 cities in China. We got a chance to meet with their business community, their governmental community, a lot of times their educational community. So now as we think global, and it's going to be an interesting dynamic with President Trump trying to kind of shrink the borders. But there are people still who want to. It's interesting enough, we had a delegation that came from the Ukraine to the city of Newark. We also have an agreement signed with the city of Newark to help them in their globalization of the city. They want to be known as a global marketplace. So we're assisting companies from abroad integrate. So they also have an office at NJIT, which is serving as a hub for not only businesses, but this idea of we're bringing a more of an international flavor. So we hosted this delegation from the Ukraine recently. And of course, they had some questions about what's going on with Russia. And so even while all this discussion about borders closing, America is still an exciting place for people who want to do business. And as minorities in this country, we got to get a piece of that global pie too. So I applaud their efforts in that. And Fernando Spotted has been very aggressive at creating a global opportunity framework for this region, and and we all serve on the board of that organization. And I think you'll be hearing a lot more in this region about some of the things that are coming.
Mr. Hernandez, the things that are really incredibly important when it comes down to people who are starting businesses is to understand exactly how to navigate the system. In what areas do you find the most complicated that individuals should know about how your organization approaches it?
Well, I can speak on my behalf. I'm in the construction business. In the construction business, you really got to know economics, law, accounting. I mean, all this stuff, if you don't know it, you better learn it. And then I learned the hard way. Learn the trade first, go out and work, and when you got into trouble, you hire an attorney, and then you can't afford an attorney, you got to know the rules and regulations. Also, same thing with the accountability of your business. You got to keep your cash flow at a certain point, so you know don't spend more than what you make, and try to keep control of what you got. So when you go out, you have the tools to perform and deliver your services. Mm-hmm. So like I mentioned before, in the construction industry, every year they have rules and regulations. Like when I started my business, give you an example, when you did public work, you didn't have to get a certification called a public to do public work. You didn't have to get certified by the Department of Labor, I think it is now, is it? That you have to get to be able to do public work. You have to get certified. Your business have to be certified to get a certificate from them to be able to do public work. Besides getting a performance bond, that's a whole different issue, and it's a hard thing to do to get a performance bond, because to do public work, you need three things. You need insurance, 3 workman's comp, liability, and vehicle. To do public work, you need to bid the job. You need bid bonds. And to get the job, you need performance bond. And to do that, you have to be in a position to be able to, that if you default on a job, that the insurance company will pay out on you and they'll take all your assets. So that means you have to have credit wealthy, and you have to have assets to be able to get those requirements on the performance and bid bonds, or else you can't do public work. You could do public work as a subcontractor without doing the performance and the bid bonds, but then you'll be working and financing the job, and you will work with a very minimum profit margin.
Well, it's interesting, Mayor Smith, because we had worked with Reverend Jesse Jackson talking about access to wealth. What I wanted to understand, like Mr. Sanchez, does the Chamber of Commerce have an opportunity of providing investment relationships with individuals who are trying to start their new businesses and fall in that gap without having the financing?
Well, there were organizations out there that are lenient when it comes to helping minority business and funding and trying to get loans. But I have to say, is the banking industry in New Jersey is not the greatest, and they're not friendly to small business. We get backing from the SBA many times. SBA puts out money out there, but even SBA has gotten tight. So it's hard that we have to go to a secondary market and another organization that started getting a loan for 3% or 4%. Now we may be paying 7%.
Wow.
So, and this is the only opportunity that we have. So we have to say we are glad that these other lending secondary market exists, because we're still able to get some of that money. I could name, and I guess I could name it. We have an organization right now that it says it's called On Deck, and they're willing to loan you money, but you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay a lot of money for that.
Wow.
But you could get it. In other words, if you need money, if you need $20,000 for a month or so, you could get that $20,000, but you pay for it.
Mayor, doesn't that seem to be an obstacle? I mean, as a banker?
Well, always capitalization is always a problem. As a banking person, John makes a valid point. Banks haven't always been the friendliest, particularly to minority firms. We hope that people like myself can influence them internally to do better. And that's my role as inside of a banking institution. Now, my bank is a smaller bank because it's what they call a community bank. So, and we do have a small business lending platform that we do some stuff, but as you grow, you even sometimes grow out of the bank's small business category. So a lot of times you have to go to SBA, who doesn't lend anymore. They used to lend when they started. They used to lend. Now they only guarantee.
Right.
Wow.
So they don't even lend money
So they kind
anymore.
of back you to go to another
So
lender.
we're one of the largest SBA lenders in the state, though. So what happens is we got a business. They meet most of the criteria of the SBA. Then we put our risk capital up, but the SBA covers it with insuring it, guaranteeing us all. So if they default, the federal government then bails them out. So it's interesting. We hope that in this new changing climate on the federal level, that doesn't change. So people who are in the small business sector, or even just people in general, know that a lot of companies were started, major American companies like a Federal Express, was started with early when they started with SBA financing. So that's still a viable option. And while the federal government is making all these changes, we have to be vigilant if we want to save the small business sector to keep the SBA alive. I was a 1995 delegate, that's how old I am, to the White House Conference on Small Business.
Right.
And Newt Gingrich had taken over Congress. He became the Speaker of the House. And one of the things that they had on their agenda was the elimination of SBA. I think these gentlemen remember that.
Yes.
But when we got down there, they found out that their constituents at a lot of major American companies got their start with SBA financing. That quickly we pulled that off the agenda. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that affects our neighborhoods that, sometimes our everyday people are just struggling to work and earn a living, don't realize, but still you have a person that represents us in Washington, you have 2 United States senators, you got to let them know. Now, the other thing that chambers do that's important, I know these gentlemen, they also bring together people who have resources and then finance each other. Sometimes it's a loan.
Yeah, and I think that's where I was headed with the conversation.
Yeah, so from the networking standpoint, they have helped each other.
Okay.
John himself runs one of the best pest control companies, and I know I've used him personally, so I can personally vouch for him. But so when an opportunity comes, if he's not prepared, maybe Joe lends him some money till his first invoice comes in and he gets paid. But that's what if you got.
That's what a commerce is really about.
Try to bring people together.
And that's the reason why it's so important for membership. When it comes to membership, and people are excited about joining, but you can't have these expectations, though.
Right.
I mean, like, how do you evaluate a business to find out if it is creditable for an investment?
Well, you have to test the waters. You have to try it, and if you like it and you see hope, you continue it. It's not a guarantee. It's you have a dream and you start off and you think you're going to make money. Well, that's how I started. No one said, here, Joe, you got a dream? Here's a couple $1,000. Go buy yourself some tools, some transportation. At that time, you didn't need insurance, not even for your vehicle. Only registration and plates and $100, $200 vehicle, So if you have dreams, I had a dream and I had hopes, and that's how I met our mayor here, our friend. I met John, and I met a lot of other people, and I'm still meeting people. I said to myself, well, I'm going to retire when I'm young. I'm working harder than ever because I still have a dream and I still have goals.
Well, the thing that is really important that our viewers may be able to understand, and I'm here with Mr. Joe Hernandez, Mr. John Sanchez, and my good friend, the Honorable Mayor Wayne Smith, who happens to be now our banker, chairman of the board. And just got that ever-ready bunny still going.
Oh, no doubt.
Got that battery going. I remember how that was with you when you did have a municipality that you was heading.
Well, one of the skills mayors, being a mayor, does give you is you got to manage multiple projects. So you just bring that. You just get to keep a little bit more in your pocket when you're doing it in the private sector.
Looking at it from that perspective, Mr. Sanchez, it's clear that a lot of the activity that's going on in regard to the employment base, that we do seek opportunities from other countries to be able to develop an appropriate base. Talk to us about the relationship now that the chambers have in sequence of knowing how to involve the international community in the business of their communities.
Well, I believe in the organization that we were just talking about. Joe is the chairman of this organization. In fact, I think he got us both
involved. Yes, that's right.
with the organization. So I will put that question back to Joe.
Well,
what organization is
Joe
this?
is doing?
It's called SeeTip, and it stands.
I'm sorry, say that again.
It's called, and the initials is SeeTip, TIP.
Okay.
Okay, and the reason why we created this nonprofit organization is to promote and promote opportunities abroad, because we don't see opportunities here. If you want opportunities, you got to go out and get them and bring them here. So we created this organization, and I reached out to all my good friends and buddies to join us and be a part of this organization to promote, especially Newark. We just signed an agreement with Newark to help Newark promote Newark internationally, and like we're having a big delegation coming in May from China on their second trip. They're coming in for 4 days into Newark, and they're looking for investments opportunities. And what our organization does is help them identify opportunities that they're looking for and screen the red tape, because they don't like red tape. Nobody likes red tape, and they want things done quickly. So they could understand how the system works, so they could go ahead and have a positive mind and go ahead and say, yes, I'm interested, I want to invest. So by doing that, we create opportunities for our members, because they need architects, they need engineers, they need contractors, they need vendors, they need a whole consultants, a whole bunch of services. So that's how we generate our opportunities for our members.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, a lot of it is very challenging, but it's so important to find that there are organizations and individuals with the expertise, especially with the mayor on your side, that can be able to help you navigate through the process. And we're very happy to know that there is an energy of unity in developing ways in which it can help our community. And I think that that's going to be very substantial as you move towards the future. I'd like to thank you, gentlemen, for giving us a few minutes of your time so that we can get to know who you are, and that we can build the kind of relationships that will be substantial towards the development of what we do here in the media community. Mayor Smith, I'm very challenged. Simply because you're doing better than I am.
Oh, well, listen. I don't have a response for that. For once, I'm speechless. But I'm going to keep trying to do better.
Well, I'm very happy now to know that we're back together again, and we're certainly going to be looking at ways in which we can bring more of this information to our community and develop it in a positive way. Thank you very much for tuning in. And let me take a moment to thank the team that's working with me in relationship to how we are able to build the relationship of quality that we bring to you in your home and your listening community. Lisa Durton, who is a very talented individual, is part of our support team, and it's really an honor to have her involve herself with the things that I'm doing because of her outreach efforts and the relationships that she has abroad. Tina Lane has been phenomenal in relationship to the development that she has been bringing forth to you, the viewers, on a consistent basis. And if it wasn't for the foundation, the base, Mr. Michael Matthews, who is very involved with his talents and outreach and mentoring each one of us so that we can be able to improve our skills, this particular telecast today would not be possible. So I'd like to thank them for being a part of what we're doing. We want to continue to challenge the obstacles that come before us, and we look forward to bringing you another real important relationship of communicating to you as we go forward in the future. Thank you very much for tuning in, and have a really pleasant evening.
Thank you.